Well, welcome back. Hi, I'm Dr. Tamara White. I am your transformational coach, and I am excited that you've decided to join me for day number 4, Steps to Mastering Courageous Living. If you haven't already, like I always say, go grab a pen and paper so that you can take down some of these nuggets while they're fresh on your mind. And oh, by the way, I certainly hope that you've been enjoying this series on Steps to Mastering Courageous Living, because if you're not implementing, you need to be implementing now. Just to recap, day number 1, we talked about purpose and believing in yourself. Day number 2, we talked about the importance of living with your values and your principles. That's how we live a courageous life. And day number 3, we talked about not living in overwhelm, that it is your choice to not live in overwhelm. And today, we're talking about one of the hottest topics, which is facing fear. How do we face fear? How do we live in a life that is full of anxiety and fear? And as a licensed counselor and a transformational coach, I have worked with thousands of people on facing fear, because that will stop you in your tracks and you will not live your best life, ladies and gentlemen. You will not live your best life. So I want to make sure that you're taking down notes, that if you have questions, you could always send me a note at the end of the series. But I do hope that you're finding some great value here. I know I just said ladies and gentlemen, because even though my clients are female, this content is still good for anyone, because we all deal with the things that I'm teaching in this series in our day-to-day lives, because we do want to be courageous. We do want to live victorious. And so I'm hoping that you're challenged by some of the things that I'm teaching, and that you'll be even more challenged today after I get done teaching a little bit on fear. Now, of course, this is not a conclusive teaching, because we could talk about this. I could do an all-day seminar or all-day webinar on dealing with fear, but I'm just going to drop a few things on you so that you can begin to think about what are those things that may be stopping you in your tracks from living that courageous life. And that's what we're here all about, like, right? We're just here about teaching on that very thing. So I want you to know that having fear is definitely a thing that we do want to manage, but also fear is something that can protect us. So I don't want you to think that fear is just all this negative stuff, because it's not. Fear also is something that protects us. It protects us from danger. It protects us from, making wrongful decisions. Fear of climbing mountains is something. People have fear, let's say, of mice running around or something like that, or some type of danger. It is certainly a thing that can protect us from being in the wrongful position or the wrong place. You go to something and you feel like this is not a place I should be in. That's a moment of really recognizing that as a fear tactic to help get you to change your trajectory so that you can be in a safe environment. So let's make sure that the things I'm teaching you today are people that live in a lifestyle of just having fear all the time. So once again, fear is a natural byproduct of being a human being, but we do not want to stay in a mode of living in a day-to-day fear. So with that said, let's just go ahead and kick it off. I want you to look at understanding if there is a fear in your life. I want you to understand, what is that fear? First of all, we need to identify what's going on. Is there a person? Is it people? Is it a place? Is it a thing that you are afraid of that's stopping you in your tracks from living your best life? So we want to identify what that fear is. We have to break that apart and find out, what is the fear? Fear of speaking on stage, fear of getting a new job, fear of having a courageous conversation with someone that you need to let go of, or tell someone something. What is that fear? I'm mentioning small things, but it could be a huge, huge, huge fear that you have. And we don't want to walk around and live in that fear, because you will not live your best life that way. I know you probably heard this acronym of fear, and it's called false evidence appearing real. How many times have you been afraid of something and that never transpired? It never came up. And that's what this statement means. Most of us are in fear for things that will never happen, and will never come up. We've made things happen in our mind, but they are not real. False evidence appearing real. So I want you to keep that in mind, that some of these things we're making up will never come to pass. So when fear comes up, we need to acknowledge that fear and recognize the fear without judgment. So what does that mean? We're looking at dissecting what that thing is, or person or whatever is causing the fear. And then we really need to develop an action plan to get on the other side of it. So as I said, fear is a natural emotion to have because it does protect us. It addresses things that we can avoid, or suppression, but we don't want to live with fear. We do not want to live with fear. So think about it. Do you know people that are living with a fear mindset all the time? That is not healthy. We do not want to live with a negative, fearful mindset. So that's why I'm talking about this right now. You want to dissect the fear. You want to understand the root cause. You want to identify the source of your fear. So as a therapist, I break that down with clients. And as a life coach, I break that down with clients. What is causing the fear? Let's really get it out in a confidential setting and address it. Because I know for sure, and I say this all the time to clients, if you decide to do nothing with this information, then nothing will change. You will be in the same spot this same time next month, this same time 6 months from now, this same time a year from now. So with addressing it, you're bringing clarity to your life. You're opening up some stuff. And I know sometimes things can be very painful. That's why you hire someone like me, who is trained and licensed to help you through those things. So always look at what the fear is. And if it's too overwhelming, ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. That doesn't mean that you're some kind of mouse or something. You ask people for help all the time. You ask for directions. You go into a store, you ask for help. I don't know where, something is in the store. So this is okay to ask for help in your own personal life. Just ask for help. So we're identifying that there's a fear. We're addressing the fear. We're finding out what the root cause is of the fear. And then next, we want to identify it. We want to, just sink our teeth in it. So with that said, once you kind of evolve with that and you've asked for help, if it's something you can't manage on your own, then, we want to maybe do something about it, right? So whatever that looks like, crossing that off of your life, having a conversation, not dealing with that fear anymore now that you know what it is, putting that aside, not suppressing it, because suppression means that it's still not dealt with. In this life, we must learn how to deal with all of the things that come with being a human being. And fear and doubt are one of them. What do you fear and doubt kind of go hand in hand. People have anxiety about a lot of things. People have a lot of stressors that bring on fear, and then they live in a cowered down life. They're suppressing a lot of things that need to really be dealt with. So some of the things that you could do is to practice relaxation and to practice meditation, prayer. Those are the kinds of things that can kind of elevate you. So if I'm thinking about fear, I can't think about something positive and think about fear at the same time. You always also may want to go into a moment of gratitude. If I'm grateful, then I'm not fearful. It's just the opposite of that. So meditation, relaxation techniques, mindfulness, meaning you step away from the situation. And oftentimes when you step away, you can get a new revelation that's not so heightened. If you just step away for a moment, find a quiet place. You can download a lot of meditation apps or relaxation apps on your phone just to change your mindset, because your mindset becomes your reality. And if you're in false evidence or appearing real type of thing, then the reality is not there. Check with a friend, check with a confidant who can help give you some clarity and say, hey, you're not seeing this right. And you want to face fears gradually. If it's a really, really big thing, you may not be able to go all in at once. Just take baby steps to address the fear. break it down. Break it down with a friend, a confidant, a pastor, a coach, a therapist, someone that's trusted and confidential to help you break that down so that you can get on the other side of this. The whole idea is that we don't walk around like this on a regular, that we get on the other side of it. And like I said, having fear is a natural emotion of being a human being. What we're talking about now is not living a life like that. So facing the fear, and then, as I said, seeking some support and some guidance are the things that you can certainly do. And there's another statement that I say sometimes is you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. So a lot of athletes do that, and they're fearful, but they still get out there and do it anyway. People that are in competitions, they feel the fear and they get out and do it anyway. Sometimes when I'm speaking and doing speaking engagements on a large stage, or it could not even have to be a large stage, it could just be a small group. I get fearful, like, oh my God, what's the people are looking at me type of thing. But guess what? I feel the fear and I get out there and do it anyway. I do what I must do because I'm there to serve the people. And so whatever is holding you back, learn to feel the fear and do it anyway, and examine, is this really a real fear? Or is this something I'm making up in my head? Because usually, as I said, most of it doesn't come to pass. So I want you to think about some of the things I've just said. And I want you to know that your mindset does control your reality. And there's a statement that I just recently read. It says, understand what you are afraid of because your fears will diminish when you choose to live a life with courage. So that's what we're talking about on this series of living a courageous life. And when you make that decision to overcome that fear, then you will be able to live a courageous life all the time because you'll have the tools and the strategies that you need to knock that down and go on about your business, because the world is waiting for you to get going. The world is excited that you have some things to share or that your family needs or whatever. So in conclusion, we're going to face the fears. We're going to dissect it and figure out what it is. We're going to overcome it by asking for support and guidance. We're going to maybe use some relaxation techniques or some mindfulness or meditation so that we can be calm to deal with it. We're not going to suppress it. We are going to confront it. And that's why you seek professional guidance if you need to do that. And you will feel so much better when you release that fear, because we do not want to live an ongoing life like that, ladies. So we don't. So listen, I am coming to the conclusion of today. I hope that you have found some tremendous nuggets here, because I don't like to be long. I just like to be strong in what I have to say. And so I hope that you're, listening well and you're taking notes, and you certainly want to share this information with family and friends or whatever, people that you know that may be having some trouble, with fear. So as your host, I am signing off, Dr. Tamara White. I am looking forward to you still watching the rest of this series. And I want you to know that you're going to make a promise to yourself, because as I said before, if you do nothing, ladies, if you choose to do nothing about this, you will indeed get nothing, because life comes with choices, daily choices. Every day you wake up, you need to decide what it is that you're going to do today. So make a choice to choose yourself and get on the other side of this stuff. Make a choice, make a promise to yourself. So listen, until next time, Dr. Tamara White signing off. And my motto is, this is how empowerment is elevated and every woman wins. All right, take care. Until next time, we'll see you. Take care.